Welcome. In this video, we'll cover 20 key tips to help you succeed in the business strategy game, which is played in undergraduate and graduate business programs all around the world. These tips won't guarantee success, but they will increase your likelihood of performing well. Whether you're just starting or deep into the game, these strategies will guide you in making informed decisions and staying ahead of the competition. The first tip is to develop your own strategy. Many BSG players rely on YouTube tutorials, with a few popular YouTubers offering guidance. It's important to anticipate your competitors' actions. Publicly available information, such as these videos, becomes less valuable since everyone has access to it. All teams will be searching for strategies on YouTube or Google. So what will your competitors do? Watch the videos to learn, but don't just copy them. You won't win if you simply follow the crowd. Instead, plan your strategy ahead of time and also develop a backup strategy with the necessary inputs to switch course if needed. Focus on developing a comprehensive long-term strategy rather than relying on short-term tactics. It's easier to make decisions that improve results for specific rounds, but turning a short-term strategy into a sustainable long-term plan is nearly impossible. Your strategy should go beyond just price or SQ rating. Consider how you'll finance your operations, where to produce, when to expand, and where to focus your development. Thinking round by round is ineffective. A decision made in year 12 will impact years 13, 14, and 15, so anticipate those consequences and plan accordingly. The BSG is like a game of chess. Your moves must be strategic, anticipating both your opportunities and your competitors' responses. Incorporating your strengths and your opponent's weaknesses into your long-term strategy is key to winning. Whether you choose a low or high SQ rating, it's crucial to offer a variety of models. By doing so, you can significantly boost your market share and demand, which becomes especially important in the end game. A high SQ rating with just a few models is less effective than a high SQ rating with many models, even if this leads to higher reject rates in Asia Pacific and Latin America. The worst position is having both a low SQ rating and only a few models. This approach likely won't lead to success. Which makes more sense? $10 million in search engine advertising in the 1990s or today? Many players don't realize that in the BSG, it's ineffective to 1. Invest heavily in internet marketing across all regions, and 2. Spend a lot in the early years. The internet market in BSG is very small initially, so early expenditures will have little impact. Instead, wait to ramp up search engine advertising spending in later years when the internet segment is more developed. Just like in the early days of Amazon, spending $300 million on internet marketing wouldn't have made much difference due to the small customer base. Also, demand varies by region. North America and Europe/Africa typically see higher demand depending on your celebrity endorsements, so it makes sense to focus your budget there over time. A global search engine advertising strategy is inefficient, as Asia Pacific and Latin America are less responsive, and you'll end up wasting money compared to focusing on Europe and North America. As the player's guide explains, market growth will vary over time, and with a well-chosen strategy, you'll quickly gain market share and need to expand to meet demand. This expansion requires financing, and it's recommended to primarily use loans. Review the loan table in the finance report to understand when principal payments are due and which loans will require active repayment versus those that will pay off automatically. Ignoring principal payments can lead to bankruptcy or a severe credit rating drop, trapping your company in a downward financial spiral. High debt, even up to $1.5 billion, is manageable with a strong strategy, but you must plan how to repay it. It won't disappear on its own. To improve your score, it's essential to manage debt responsibly. Consider using long-term debt early on, 5-year loans in the middle stages, and short-term 1-year loans by years, 17 or 18. It makes sense to buy back as many shares as possible, as early as possible to boost the return on equity, ROE. To boost your return on equity and stock price, buy back the maximum number of shares each year. If necessary, take out loans to buy back shares as quickly as possible. The stock price can rise rapidly, making future buybacks more expensive, so the sooner you complete the buybacks, the better. This strategy will help increase both your return on equity and your overall company valuation. Asia Pacific and Latin America is the way to go. BSG is just a game, so there's no need to get emotionally attached to the fictional employees. Focus your investments in Asia Pacific and Latin America, leaving Europe and North America for later. Here's why. After building sufficient production capacity in Asia, your production costs, also true for Latin America, will decrease substantially. Even with customs duties and shipping costs, it will still be cheaper to produce in these regions than in North America and Europe. This approach will give you a significant cost advantage in the game. Pay attention to the depreciation in year 16. In year 16, significant depreciation will occur, particularly in your Asia Pacific facility, where much of the equipment will be fully written off. It's essential to plan in the preceding years how and whether you will address this depreciation. Ignoring it can lead to severe negative consequences, including an inability to meet demand. This could result in significant financial losses, reduced market share, and a negative impact on your image rating. Properly managing depreciation is crucial to maintaining your company's competitive position in the game. Update B is not the best update, even if all YouTubers say so. Many players follow YouTube advice that claims, always invest in Update B, everything else is pointless. This is highly debatable. Update B, along with Update D, is often the worst choice. The savings from Update B are limited by the number of models, capping its potential benefits. In contrast, Update A is particularly useful for Asia and Latin America, where reject rates are high and can be halved with Update A. This allows you to produce and sell more shoes. Reducing a 12% reject rate to 6% can result in significant additional profits, making the cost of Update A worthwhile. Additionally, unlike Update B, Update A's benefits grow as production increases. For Europe and North America, where quality is already high, you could consider investing in Update D. Invest a lot of money in CSRC from the start to boost your image rating. Focus on investing heavily in CSRC initiatives, not charitable donations. The goal is to invest strategically, not to give money away. Consistent investment in CSRC will significantly boost your image rating, which is especially valuable if your SQ rating is low. Maintain these investments until the end of the game, and you can almost guarantee an image rating of over 95, giving you a competitive edge. BSG is just a game. Fringe benefits and incentive pay are nice, but they are rather disadvantageous because it doesn't matter if your overall strategy is good. Many groups mistakenly develop feelings for the employees in BSG, which isn't necessary. A modest salary increase of a few percent is acceptable, but it's wise to avoid incentive pay and fringe benefits, as they incur high costs with minimal benefits. Instead, focus on maximizing investments in best practices, which will have lasting effects throughout the game. Be cautious with salary increases. For example, a 1% raise in year 1 can become very costly over 10 years. If you were to increase salaries by 5% in year 1, it could nearly double employees' salaries without a corresponding increase in productivity. Private label is incredibly important and determines whether you win or lose. If you're not securing contracts in the private label business, you're likely at a disadvantage. If you've followed the earlier strategies, you should be producing shoes cost-effectively, allowing for relatively high margins in private label sales. Additionally, winning private label contracts significantly boosts your image rating. Ensure that you're consistently one of the 2 least expensive providers, and anticipate whether any competitors might undercut your prices. It's important to note that a high SQ company is unlikely to offer cheaper shoes in the private label segment compared to low SQ companies. Do not issue any stock. Under no circumstances should you issue stock, except in one specific case. Your goal is to boost your return on equity, not diminish it. Properly managed debt can positively impact your company through tax advantages. However, if you issue stock, it could hinder your ability to buy back shares and jeopardize your credit rating, negatively affecting your GTD score. If you find yourself in a situation with extremely high liabilities and have already bought back all shares, issuing stock may provide a safety net during tough times. In such cases, weigh the potential consequences carefully, as this move could decrease both your stock price and return on equity. Always prioritize debt as your primary source of financing. Do not try to achieve an extremely high SQ rating, that is higher than 8. Many YouTube videos advocate for a high SQ, high model strategy, which can be effective but is also very expensive and risky, especially against strong competition. Avoid trying to maintain an extremely high SQ rating. Aiming for a perfect score of 10 isn't practical, as it won't lead to high profitability. Costs will typically rise faster than your market share can grow. Always conduct a cost-benefit analysis before making decisions to ensure your strategy is sustainable and profitable. Dividends should be paid out at the end only if the credit rating meets investors' expectations. If you have debts or financial obligations, prioritize paying them off first. As a growth company, it's rare to pay out dividends. Always use your cash inflows to expand or settle debts before considering dividends. Your investors are primarily focused on growth. If you pay dividends and then cut them the following year, your stock price will likely drop, wasting your resources. So, when should you pay out dividends? Only when you're financially stable, have settled your debts, and are in the end game looking to boost your stock price. In all other years, refrain from paying dividends. Make sure your price for private label is correct and that you meet the required SQ rating. We've discussed private label strategies, but let's focus on pricing and SQ ratings. As mentioned earlier, it's better to set a lower price than a higher one. Many groups mistakenly set their prices too high, causing their offers to be ignored. Conversely, some set their SQ ratings too low or too high in the private label segment. Aim to meet the required SQ rating precisely. It doesn't matter if you achieve an SQ rating of 3.5 or go for a 7. What counts is the price and meeting the minimum SQ requirements. Do not forcibly try to achieve the CSRC award, as it offers no advantage. Investing in CSRC is a smart way to boost your image rating. However, you should never forcefully pursue the CSRC award, as it has no relevance to your image rating or overall company success. Continuous investment in CSRC is beneficial, but the award typically goes to companies with the highest ratio of CSRC investment to revenue, often those with poorer performance. With $2 billion in revenue, winning the award is nearly impossible, but it's also not a priority for your success. Focus on consistent CSRC investment rather than chasing the award. Always ensure that your inventory level is stocked to avoid losing market share. It's common for other companies to face shoe shortages, but that doesn't mean demand decreases. Many groups mistakenly aim to optimize production to minimize inventory, which is a flawed approach. Starting with an inventory of over 2,000 can be beneficial to offset competitors' shortages. Additionally, avoid conducting inventory clearance. Think about how a real shoe store operates. Clearance usually doesn't generate profit. For companies with a mid-SQ rating, maintaining a reasonable inventory level is advantageous. There will be times when you need more inventory and times when you want to reduce it. The ultimate goal is to reduce your inventory to 0 by year 20. Achieving this means your strategy is successful. Study the competitive intelligence reports at all costs. Don't overlook the importance of the CIRs. They are crucial for your success, as they form the basis for both your competitive analysis and strategic planning. The CIRs provide insights into competitors' price levels across all regions in wholesale, internet, and private label markets, as well as their marketing expenditures and number of models. They also highlight relevant celebrities for your branding. It's essential to review competitors' shortages and gains annually to identify their weaknesses. For example, if a competitor is losing 500 shoe sales each year due to insufficient inventory, this presents an opportunity for you to capture those sales if you have extra inventory available. Any offensive strategy costs you money and is pointless if you are the market leader. If you are the market leader, you should never pursue offensive strategies. Just as it wouldn't make sense for Mike Tyson to fight an elementary school student, you should focus your resources solely on defending your position. Offensive moves are costly and often result in the biggest losses for the aggressor. Offensive strategies only make sense for weaker competitors looking to capture market share from a leader, but even then, the leader may be too strong to overcome. Always consider the consequences of an offensive strategy. For instance, initiating a price war means that all market participants, including you, will have to sacrifice future profits. You should have at least 3 celebrities every year. Celebrity endorsements play a crucial role in BSG and can significantly impact demand for your shoes. To leverage this, maximize your retailer support and brand advertising, as these are influenced by celebrity appeal in each region. Aim to have at least 3 celebrity endorsements each year, and anticipate your competitors' bids to ensure you receive multiple offers. However, avoid spending $20 million on a celebrity in years 11, 12. This is unwise due to the small market size, which could lead to negative returns. Throughout the game, you'll notice inflation. This is normal. Use odd and unpredictable numbers for your bids, adjusting them by $100,000 each year to make it difficult for competitors to outbid you easily. Stay tuned for more insights into business and strategy. If you found this overview helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on future topics you'd like us to cover. I'm Dr. Dag, wishing you a fantastic day ahead.